Hey artists and art lovers, welcome back to another episode. I hope you are fine and doing well. So today I'm gonna unbox some of the art supplies sent by Arteza, and I'll show you how to draw these beautiful roses using those art supplies. And by the way, you can use any ordinary watercolor and a water brush for this tutorial if you don't have those real brush pens. I've provided the link of all the art supplies I'll use in this video in the description down below. So without any further ado, let's get started. Okay, so I got this really nice looking bag along with some other art supplies sent from Arteza. And this specific bag is full of watercolor markers, also known as water-based brush pens. They also have a smaller plastic bag with less number of markers and which is also a little bit cheaper, but I prefer this bigger one because you can carry this bag around anywhere you travel with this bag strap. But for now I'm gonna remove this strap so I can easily move it around on my table. Okay, so let's open this up and have a look on the brush pens. I really love this Velcro sound, it's oddly satisfying. Okay, looks like we have a whole lot of brush pens here, and they are beautifully organized by color. And the total number of pens in this specific box is 96, according to their website. So in the last 6 slots we have these different shades of black and grey color, like smoke grey, elephant grey, ash black, noir black, etc. On the other side we have this gradient of light green to brown, and then we have this dark green to light blue. On the other side we have this purple to dark blue color, and then we have this purple to pink and light red. On the other side we have this yellow to orange and then the dark red. So as I said, the total number of brush pens is 96. Another good thing about this bag is you can detach the tray or slots if you are not comfortable with this folding mechanism. It's attached on the base with just a single Velcro strip. So I'm just gonna take one of these out so we can get a look at the marker itself. So as the name suggests, this actually has the real bristles. It's not like the one of those felt tip markers. On the other side it has the Arteza labeling and it says real brush pens. And then it has the color name along with the color code, which is really a good thing for a person like me. And in the end it has the cap which is of the same color as the marker itself. And the remaining label says it's a water-based non-toxic ink, which is really a good thing for children. And it is designed in United States of America. So let's put it back for a while until I review the watercolor pad. So along with other art supplies, I got this watercolor pad from Arteza, and as the label says, it's a 32 sheets watercolor pad. The one I reviewed in my previous eagle drawing video was a pencil color pad with 80 sheets, but the paper quality was really cheap and texture on the both sides. But I think this one is great because each paper is 300 GSM, and as the label says, each single paper has 2 different sides. One is textured and the other one is smooth. So another great thing about this pad is that it's a non-spiral binded pad. All the sheets are lightly glued together on the top with this glue or something like that. And the papers are really easy to detach from the pad. You don't have to worry about tearing the paper apart while detaching from the spiral binding or something like that. And as I said, the paper quality is really amazing. I'm in love with the thickness of this paper. And maybe I will use this paper in my pencil sketching videos and see how it works. Yeah, I know it's a watercolor paper, but I just love doing experiments and trying new things. And as I said, this one side of the paper is textured like a scholar sheet, and the other side is smooth like a Stonehenge paper or any hot pressed smooth paper. I really like this paper from the look of it, but I will give my honest review and stars in the end of this video. So for now I'm gonna grab these few markers and a paper from the pad and start my experiments. So as of my experience, the real brush tip of these markers really make a big difference, because you can get really thin or really thick lines just by increasing or decreasing the pressure and speed of your hand. If you put the marker vertically on the paper and put a little bit of pressure, you will get this kind of thin and sharp lines. And when you increase the pressure and lower the angle of marker, you can get these really thicker lines with these markers. And the faster you go, the more broken your lines will be. So it's all about how you use it. Another thing you can do is you can easily blend these markers. So if you take a darker marker and you scribble it out, then you can take a lighter marker of the same color and go right over the top of the dark one and bring it down, and it will blend the color. And you can also extend it to the more lighter side just by adding more lighter shades of the same color on the lighter end. Just like this. Another amazing thing you can do with these type of markers is something called tip to tip method. You just have to touch and hold the tips of a darker color marker and a lighter color marker, and you can get a really nice looking blend from the darker color to the lighter one. Let's try a red color. And yeah, it works really well. You can do this technique with all the lighter and darker colors. Just like this. So another art supply I got from Arteza are these water brushes. It's a bag of 4 water brushes with different tip sizes and thickness. We have this bigger one with more bristles and longer tip, and then we have these medium sizes along with a smaller one. And I used this one when I was testing it off screen. So its color is a little bit different from the others because I was too lazy to wash it thoroughly. So anyways, I'm gonna fill this one with water and then we will try it on the brush pens. Okay, so I have some water in this water brush. So basically what you should be able to do is dissolve this into a lighter color just to get like a watercolor wash. And it's working pretty well. So in my opinion, these brush pens are really good for beginners because they are easier to handle than the real watercolors. But I think this technique works perfectly with only the lighter color because you can see the darker colors are difficult to blend or dissolve into a lighter one. Okay, so I have another technique to share with you guys before we move on to our illustration. And basically you just need to grab a piece of plastic or a glass and scribble the brush pens onto the plastic or glass. I would highly recommend using a plastic sheet for this technique because a piece of glass can be a dangerous thing if the edges are not rounded off properly. I sanded this one properly, so don't worry about me. Anyways, as you can see, it's really easy to pick the colors from a glass or plastic with a watercolor brush. And you can easily use this technique to get lighter tones from your desired colors. Okay, so now I'm gonna start the tutorial process, but just like most of my videos, this is also an experiment. I'm just here to share my experience with you guys because this will be the first ever watercolor drawing of my life, and I hope it will turn out well. So I'm gonna outline a rough sketch of a flower and I'm gonna keep it simple and minimal as possible because it's not a pencil sketch and I don't need to go into too much details with the outlines. I just need an outline portion to play inside with my brush pens and practice the techniques I explained in this video. I saw some individual images of flowers, leaves and rosebud, but I couldn't find a suitable image for this practice. That's why I started drawing from my own imaginations. So please ignore the mistakes if you find any. So I'm gonna add a few leaves here like this and I think it looks perfect. But I'm not satisfied with this single rosebud here because as our master Bob Ross says, everyone should have a friend. So I'm gonna add another rosebud here, just a little bit smaller than this one. Okay, now it's perfect. So I'm just gonna take this neon pink first and test it on a petal. Looks great. Let's add the contrast with a little bit darker tone like this hot pink. Yeah, looks okay. So let's try and dissolve this color with our water brush and see what happens. Oops, I don't know why, but it's changing color. Can you notice the difference? I don't think it would be a good idea to work with this one. So let's change our primary base color to this fuchsia pink. I don't know what it's called. So I'm gonna fill this second petal with our base color and I'm gonna change the darker color to amaranth pink. And now I'm gonna add the contrast in the starting portion of the petals. And again I'm using the water brush to blend the colors. Okay, so now I'm gonna fill the petals with the same fuchsia pink and then I will add the contrast later. And by the way, the real-time video of this tutorial is available on my Patreon profile and the link is in description. Okay, so it's time to add the contrast, and I'm gonna use the same amaranth pink which I used in the second petal. So you just have to add the basic lines for the contrast, and then we'll blend the line and base together with the water brush. Okay, now for the more darker and contrasty areas, I'm gonna use this plastic piece technique. First of all, I'm gonna scribble some of the Noir black on the glass, and then I'm gonna pick it up with my amaranth pink and use the tip of my marker to add these fine contrasty dark lines. And I'm gonna repeat the same process for a few of these darker areas. Okay, so now I'm gonna grab this pure red color and add some of these darker tones. Honestly speaking, I don't know what I'm doing right now, but I hope it will turn out better. Anyways, I'm gonna add some of the contrast using the black color from the glass, and then I'm gonna blend it with the water brush. Okay, so now I'm gonna try using this dolphin gray to add some of the contrast. And I'm gonna use it along with Noir black for darker contrast. I'm using this tip to tip method to transfer the darker color to the larger one. Okay, so after these final contrasts, I'm gonna move on to these green leaves. And I'll be using this lime green to add the base layer. And then I'll blend the base layer with a water brush. Now I'm gonna grab this moss green and add the darker layer. I'm really sorry if you can't see the levels on the pen. I will try to zoom in a little bit in my next tutorial on these markers. So I'm just gonna add these veins in the leaves and leave it there. It will automatically blend with the base because I already used water brush on the surface. And now I'm gonna repeat the same process for the second leaf. And I'm also gonna add some of the contrast with the Noir black, just a little bit in the middle vein. And for this third and fourth leaf, I decided to skip the water brush process because it dissolves the darker layers with the larger one. And I think these two look better than the previous ones. So anyways, moving on to the rose buds, and first of all, I'm gonna fill the petals with the base layer using the same fuchsia pink. And then I'm gonna add a layer of amaranth pink in the lower portion, alongside the sepals. You can also use this dolphin gray to add some contrast. And I'm gonna repeat the same process for the second one, but this time I'm gonna use the orchid purple as the dark layer, and see what it looks like. Yeah, it looks good. So anyways, let's add some contrast with this Noir black from the glass, and then we'll move on to the green sepals. Coloring of sepals is a little bit similar to those of leaves. But I'm just gonna give the layers some water wash to let them blend with each other nicely. And here you go, our first experiment with the brush pens is successful. Let me just add some contrast in these two leaves. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed this video. Please consider supporting me on Patreon for some exclusive Patreon-only tutorials, real-time tutorials, grid references and much more. And don't forget to follow me on Instagram for more tips, tricks and BTS content. So thank you so much for watching, keep learning, keep drawing, and I'll see you on Saturday with something new and much more exciting.